Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? James here. So I wanted to come live tonight. I know that it's late and just do a little overview of the market, what we're looking at inside of cryptocurrency, kind of what we see in Bitcoin. And because we're starting to trade a little bit more, but I kind of want to go over how we're trading these markets right now. So if you have a question, just leave a question in the chat box, leave a comment, and I'll see if we can answer some of those questions during this chat. And before I get into the charts and stuff like that, I do want to let you know below this video, we're actually running a quick promotion where the next, I believe we have like 10 or 11 spots now. The next 10 or 11 people that come into our Crypto Ignited community and program can get $500 off. So that's a 50% discount. So you can click the link right below this video if you're interested in that. And that's it. So let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen. And again, feel free to leave any comments or questions that you might have, and we'll see if we can get these answered. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to the one-day chart, and here's what I'm going to do. I am going to look at Bitcoin right now versus the US dollar on the log chart, the logarithmic chart. It's a little bit different than the regular view, but I'm using this because the price got so expanded in Bitcoin. I went all the way up to close to 20,000, and so I like using the log chart also because of this. Here's a little bit of a difference. If you use the regular chart, I'm going to take it off of logarithmic chart. If you use the regular chart, here's something that's really interesting. When you draw the resistance line down like this on Bitcoin, this resistance line kind of goes through this this price action right here, and you see kind of like the price action pierced the resistance, went up above it, and then came down underneath it. Or you could even draw it maybe a little bit more like this. So you can see it broke that resistance there. On the log chart, it's a little bit cleaner. So if we actually redraw this on the log chart, you can see we draw it like that. It's almost perfect, okay? You see that resistance is perfect. It touches 3 points there, and it just looks a little bit cleaner. So that's kind of what I've been using on this. So here's what we have on Bitcoin. So we've got the downward trending resistance. Let me turn that red real quick. Okay, so there's the resistance that we have. And then we have this trending support. So right around in here, I'm going to draw it right about there. Okay, I'm going to make that one green. So we have our resistance line and our support line. Okay, now if we wanted to make this just really, really easy, and like if you don't want to get into trading patterns and Elliott waves and indicators and all that kind of stuff, one of the easy things, like the things that I'm looking at lately, is this consolidation zone. Now, I know that in this zone, there are still some pretty big swings, right? Like coming down like this and then back up like this. And it could even bounce around in here for a while. And I know that there's some money to be made in this zone. But if you're new and you just started trading, one of the things that you could do, now I am trading some inside of this zone, but if you're newer, one of the things that you could do is you could wait for a breakout, right? You wait either for a breakout to the upside, and then you would go long on Bitcoin, or you wait for a breakout to the downside, and then you would short Bitcoin, right? And so that's kind of the biggest thing I'm looking for is Bitcoin going to get enough strength to break this resistance line? And if it does, and it does it with a good amount of volume, and it breaks that resistance line and trades above this resistance line for a day or two, where we have candles that are opening and closing above the resistance line, that's when I'm going to get probably very bullish on Bitcoin again. But for right now, we're still kind of trading in this consolidation zone, and it's still not totally sure what's going to happen. But I do want to point a few things out. So let's look at a couple patterns that we see. All right, so one of the bigger patterns that we were looking at is this big inverse head and shoulders pattern. And I'm going to pull this up on the 4-hour chart. And this was back here where we had this head and shoulders like this inverse head and shoulders. Okay. And it looked kind of like, let's do head and shoulders. All right. Okay. All right, so that's what we had there, right? So that was an inverse head and shoulders pattern. The volume looked good on it. So for the volume, you really just need to see most of the volume at the head, and then less volume on the left shoulder and less volume on the right shoulder. Okay, actually, that wasn't correct. It would have been right here. Okay. However, the price got denied. Bitcoin got denied at the neckline, and it did not break through the neckline. Okay. You can also see that on the log chart, that is exactly the resistance line. Let me get rid of these. Here we go. You can also see this neckline, where the price action came to and hit the neckline, was also the resistance line, like the long-term resistance line. So that was a pretty interesting spot right there. It got rejected and came back down. What I do believe happened then is that we kind of made an Elliott wave set formation down. So if we kind of look at our waves, you know, it could be something like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then now we made in the fifth leg, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So this made the 5 leg. And now here's what's a little interesting. We could be making just an ABC back up, right? We could be making something like, you know, A, B, and then C, or it might even come all the way up here to this resistance line. That's what I'm going to be a little bit careful of. So here's kind of how I traded this pattern today. Because like I said, I am in some trades and things like that. The way that I traded this, and we gave a signal inside of our Crypto Ignited community earlier today to get in on this bull flag, right? So we have this pattern just like this. And it was kind of, you call this a pennant, bull flag, you know, whatever you want to call it is fine. But basically, we traded this breakout. So as soon as it broke up above this resistance line, we bought in. So we had I think we had an entry around 8,700, 8,715, somewhere in that zone. All right, and here's and then basically we're hoping that that Bitcoin, the price is going to continue all the way up and test that $10,000 zone. Now, what I like to look for in trading is when there are multiple points of confluence or agreement. Okay, confluence or agreement. So one of the things that I saw, you know, we just looked at the bigger inverse head and shoulders right here. And by the way, that inverse head and shoulders is not, it could still be possible that this formation is validated, since the price technically didn't come down, you know, past the head. This pattern could still be valid, right? But what I see also on the 1 hour chart is another inverse head and shoulders pattern that actually did complete. So let's look at that. So we have something like this. All right, so this is our neckline, and then we have the inverse head and shoulders. So let's look at that again. All right, now the inverse head and shoulders pattern is a bullish pattern. It's a positive sign in the markets, right? It means sellers are getting exhausted. And then we have this right shoulder, and then this, we can see that the pattern completed. So check this out. Here's the volume, right? Yeah, most of the volume at the head. The left shoulder has less volume, and the right shoulder has less volume. That is technically like a perfect technical setup for the inverse head and shoulders pattern. So then what we see is Bitcoin broke the neckline, great sign. And a lot of times with breakouts, what do you see? You see the price action go up and come back down and test the neckline. And that's really what we saw. So I'm really leaning towards, I don't want to see Bitcoin break underneath this neckline. If it does, I don't think that would be a good sign. I do think it's possible it might, you know, pierce it, break below it for a little bit, maybe a couple hours, but we don't want to see it trading underneath this neckline, or that's just not really a good sign. So we may kind of flag up here. You know, we'll see. We'll kind of see if we kind of flag up in this zone, and you know, this is possible. And then hopefully we'll see a breakout to the upside. If not, we'll have a stop loss right underneath it and get stopped out just a little bit in profit, or maybe break even. Okay. But what we want to see with, here's the thing with inverse head and shoulders pattern, or head and shoulders patterns in general, is that you want to see, a lot of times you will see a measured move, right? So where you can take the length from the head all the way up to the neckline, and then you can move that line, and you can do a measured move when it breaks out. So if it broke out actually right here. Okay, so this means we should see, if this pattern is going to confirm and be completed and all that, we should see the price action go all the way up to around 10,000. This is around 10,092. So I would say around the $10,000 zone. We also have some previous support and resistance areas, like right, obviously right here. Okay. So that would be something that I'm looking to. So I'm in this trade right now, looking to trade this up to about the $10,000 zone. Now, for me, probably what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm probably going to sell into the $10,000 zone, even though there's a possibility of continuation, right? So here's how I'm going to play that. If this does go up to the $10,000 zone, then I'm probably going to sell into that. And then what I'll do is I will set buy orders. We look at the higher time frame. Okay. What I'll do is I'll set buy orders above this resistance zone. Okay. Above this red resistance line. So if Bitcoin breaks the resistance and it does it with good volume, I'm willing to buy in a little bit more expensive, right? Because I want to buy in on the breakout. What I don't want to happen, here's the reason that I'm probably going to be doing that, is because of this. What we don't want to see happen, there's actually a very good chance this could happen, is, and even if Bitcoin stays bullish, is that it comes up here, retraces a little bit, comes up here to this resistance, and then gets rejected, right? And then it kind of comes all the way back down. Okay, so I'm going to sell into the green, sell into the probably $1,000 zone, and then again, if Bitcoin breaks the resistance and looks bullish, I'll just buy back in a little bit more expensive, right? But if it gets rejected and it comes back down and it wants to consolidate a little bit more in this bigger consolidation zone, right, then I'll buy it cheaper. Okay, I'll try to buy it as close as I can to this ascending support, or I'll just chill out until it decides what it's going to do. All right, so that's kind of what I see with Bitcoin. Again, I still, on the larger time frame, we really need to see Bitcoin break above or below, obviously, the resistance or the support. I know that people saw this bounce over the last few days and got super excited, and everybody thinks it's bullish again, and all that kind of stuff. But really, it's important to look at the big picture when you're looking at these charts and at the markets, because the big picture can tell you a lot, right? So that's really kind of what I see. I still think we have possibly a little bit more time of hanging out inside of this consolidation zone. We are coming to an apex point, which could even be around mid-April. Now, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin has to stay inside of this triangle or pennant or whatever you want to say. Like, it's just a big, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's just a consolidation zone right here. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to stay within these two lines until the middle of April, but it's definitely possible that it could just kind of bounce around in here until the middle of April. So I would say sometime in the next few weeks, we should really see one direction or the other, which way the market is really going to go. Okay. I really don't want to see Bitcoin come below. We look at the 1 hour again. I mean, it's just not going to be a good sign if we see Bitcoin break below this neckline. And then if it does, we need to see it stay above this 1 hour cloud. Okay, this is the Ichimoku cloud. We need to see it stay above this cloud. All right. If it doesn't, again, that's just not a very good sign. And that's that, right? So up until this point, I've actually been sitting with most of my portfolio in cash, got out at a pretty good time, made actually a ridiculous amount of profits on this last bull run that we had. I got out a little bit late once it hit the top, but still, pretty insane profits from that. So what I've been doing is kind of sitting out in cash, kind of waiting for the right times. I've been doing some scalp trades and things like that. But for the most part, kind of been sitting out. Like I said, I did get in here with a pretty good position on this bull flag, but I'll take a stop at break even if this thing wants to come back below the neckline. All right. So that's really it, guys. That's what I see. Again, I want to make sure that you see the link below this video. If you click on that link, it's going to take you over to a page like this where my business partner, Bob, is going to kind of go over our program, exactly what you're going to get, guys. It's tremendous value. We have a full course on how to trade Elliott waves, how to set up your indicators, how to get set up in the world of cryptocurrency, period. And if you really want to learn how to trade this way and you want to learn how to make profits in the world of trading crypto, then click the link, check this out. Again, this is a 50% off sale, giving $500 off for the next 10 or 11 people. I haven't checked the sales, obviously, since I've been doing this live, but we would love to have you in. So let us know if you have any questions. Leave a comment below, leave a chat message, and we will take care of you. Okay. So thanks for watching this video, and we will see you guys in the next video. And that's it. We'll speak to you guys soon. Peace.